This bull looks like a real monster, which was brought out in the laboratory and even pumped up with steroids. Its size is impressive, with a mass of almost 1.5 tons. It is twice as large as ordinary bulls. Every muscle is visible under the smooth hide. If such a bull were to strike, then even without horns, he could break through a wall. And this impressive musculature is not a single mutation, but the dignity of an entire breed. It is called the Belgian Blue Cow. And at home, it is considered a real pride of breeders. Can you immediately imagine some mad scientist who tried to bring out an army of super strong bulls? No, there were no gamma irradiations as in the case of the Hulk, and there was not even a simple gene modification. Such pronounced musculature is found in many animals as a result of a natural mutation. The gene that is responsible for muscle growth simply becomes more active, so the body in the process of development uses food as a building material for such an impressive muscle frame to a greater extent than in the case of ordinary animals without this gene. This mutation occurs not only in cows, but also in other animals, for example, in dogs. However, the breeders who were engaged in breeding the Belgian Blue Cow made efforts to fix this gene and turn it from a random mutation into a stable breed trait. To do this, they simply crossed cows and bulls with this gene amongst themselves. The result is a bodybuilding bull which is not only larger, but also much stronger than representatives of most other breeds. It's just that the Belgian Blue Bull was not brought out to participate in fights or bullfights, and this is good, because then the matadors would simply not have a chance. This breed of bull was bred for meat. You would be surprised, but such a volume of muscles makes bull meat less fatty than chicken, and more than 3 times less fatty than regular beef. And on the contrary, there is much more protein. In addition, these bulls are real good-natured and have a very balanced character. Of course, it's not worth teasing them, but for no reason such bulls do not use their superpower and do not run to attack. But would you dare to approach such an animal? Let us know in the comments. The Brahman bull looks like the fruit of the forbidden love of a cow and a camel. But this, of course, is not the case. Such hybrids are impossible due to a large difference in the genetic code of these animals. However, the Brahman looks really unusual. A huge, powerful body, a large head the size of a human torso, and at the same time a massive hump that adds almost half a foot, about 15 centimeters, to the height of the beast and can be so large that it will fall on its side while running. The Brahman is the first breed of cattle that was bred in the United States at the very beginning of the 20th century. That's just as the name implies, it was based on breeds brought to the States from distant India. The weight of a bull can go far beyond a ton, and in height, 6.5 feet, about 2 meters. Its huge hump is not an ornament, but rather plays the same role as the hump of a camel. It can be a container of nutrients if the animal has to go for a long time without water and food. That's why these animals are so loved by farmers in the United States. A Brahman bull can be released to free grazing and not worry about whether the animal will find water and food. Even if it walks through a deserted territory for a while, the fat reserve in the hump will help it survive without loss of health before food is found in sufficient quantity. I'd say that abilities like this deserve your like, don't you agree? In addition, it is not only one of the largest bulls on the planet, but also one of the most persistent and hardy. Its skin is so dense that the animal is practically invulnerable to the bites of the largest mosquitoes and other bloodsuckers. This means that the animal will not suffer from ailments that these insects carry. The Chianina is a breed of bulls that resemble a cloud. No, I don't mean that they're fluffy. I just mean that it seems that the shadow of such a giant can really cover a small city. The height of this beast is 6.5 feet, about 2 meters. The weight can reach 1.5 tons. This makes him one of the biggest bulls in the world. He is so huge that it competes in size with young hippos. Huge strength, endurance, and surprisingly calm character traits made this bull very popular. The Chianina is not only considered one of the most common breeds in its native Italy, but has also become popular far beyond its Italian borders. It is also considered incredibly ancient, older than some countries in which this breed is now bred. Huge herds of Chianina graze in many countries of South America. In addition to its huge size, this giant has a skin that resembles armor. Therefore, not only blood-sucking insects, but also small snakes cannot bite through it. What you need for a tropical climate, to which this beast has adapted well and does not suffer at all from the heat, which could drive you into an air-conditioned room in half an hour. Usually a cow is much smaller than a bull, about 1.5 times. But in the case of the Montbéliard breed, the situation's a little different. These huge animals impress with their size regardless of gender. The most common cow grows so big that its height at the withers reaches 6 feet, 1.8 meters. That is the height of an adult man. Bulls, of course, are also huge. This French breed was bred to produce milk and meat. The logic of breeders is simple. The bigger the cow, the more milk it can give. And you know what? That's right. A cow gives about 8.5 tons of milk a year, enough to feed a small village. And the entire farm can export milk and products from it. So these cows are a real source of white gold. However, most of this wealth goes to the cheese. Some brands of elite French cheeses, for example, Mont d'Or, Maubier, Comté, and Bleu de Gex, must contain milk from these cows. There it is, career success. As for bulls, their meat is valued for the absolute complete absence of a fat layer, amazing tenderness, and elasticity. Sorry, vegetarians, these are dry facts, not meat-eating propaganda. The German Angus is an unusual breed of bull, which immediately catches the eye with its massiveness. The weight of a cow can significantly exceed half a ton, but the main thing is bulls. The difference between the sexes in this breed is huge, and males are about twice as heavy as females, reaching a mass of more than a ton. At the same time, the backbone of bulls is only 15% of the animal's weight, which is quite small. Therefore, the bull looks a little puffed up with his broad chest, huge body, and head on relatively thin legs. But no, he doesn't suffer from obesity. This is a natural trait of the animal. The Asian swamp buffalo is a true titan even among other wild horned heavyweights. He is a third larger than ordinary bulls with a mass of up to 1.2 tons. But the main thing is the dimensions. The height at the withers of the marsh buffalo can reach almost 7 feet, about 2.2 to 2.3 meters. In length, it grows up to 10 feet, almost 3 meters. That is, in size, this animal sort of resembles a minibus. But the most impressive are the huge, powerful horns. They are slightly curved and usually directed backwards so as not to interfere with the animal passing through dense thickets. And for good reason, because the length of the horns of wild individuals can reach 7 feet, more than 2 meters. And if such a huge weapon was pointed up and forward like deer, then after a walk through the forest, the buffalo would have to clean the horns from bird nests and broken tree branches. Once upon a time, this majestic beast lived on a vast territory throughout Asia. The western tip of its range reached ancient Mesopotamia, while the eastern one reached southern China. In addition, this buffalo lived on many islands, for example in the Philippines and Malaysia. Unfortunately, due to deforestation and the development of wildlands for agriculture, these buffaloes now live only in India, Nepal, Bhutan, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, and Ceylon. And that's not bad either though, is it? The only trouble is that wild herds of these buffaloes are adjacent to domestic bulls, which are on free grazing in many of these countries. These domestic bulls are descendants of the Asian buffalo, which was tamed thousands of years ago, so the animals can freely interbreed. This is a problem because over the centuries, under the care of a person, domestic bulls have changed quite a lot. Their horns have become almost twice as short, a sagging belly has appeared, and the character has changed. Do you remember what Thor looked like in Infinity War, and then in Endgame? Here, too, the difference is about the same. An unpleasant sight, wouldn't you agree? I do agree. It motivates you to take care of yourself. Cubs from wild and domestic buffaloes are usually weaker than purebred wild individuals. This is bad because there are almost no worthy opponents in nature for an adult wild buffalo. Only the tiger and the largest crocodiles can attack adult males. The battle of the tiger and the buffalo is one of the most impressive duels that can be seen in the wild. Opponents are worthy of each other. The largest and strongest wildcat against the largest and most aggressive wild buffalo in all of Asia. The tiger sneaks up to the buffalo to pounce on the prey before it has time to use its horns. The predator is trying to get to the throat, and a tiger can break the net of smaller individuals with one blow. But an adult bull is too strong, so the tiger's only chance is to get to the neck vessels with its fangs or strangle. That's just that the ungulate does not give up without a fight and can trample the tiger. And if he notices the cat too early and manages to meet the jump with his horns, then the tiger will at best be forced to run. In addition, buffaloes are herd animals, and mutual assistance of ungulates can be a very bad trait for a tiger. In the worst case, the striped beast itself will become a victim. But the more blood of a domestic cousin in a wild buffalo, the weaker and more vulnerable it is to other predators like leopards, wolves, and red dogs. And which heavyweight bull impressed you the most today? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We will see you more often.